Smiley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Saturday, July 30th. So today we're still very much in the new moon window energy, but we will be having the moon move out of Leo and move into Virgo. So the moon goes void, of course, shortly after midnight, and we will be locking into Virgo energy at 2:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yes, this is a large chunk of time that the moon is void of course. And when the moon is void of course, things are shaky, things are unstable, our energy is hard to manage. We're all over the place. We're questioning. There's doubts, there's insecurities. We don't want to make any decisions or commitments. And literally, we just want to see that moon lock into a new energy in order for us to feel a little bit stable and sort things out. Now, anytime that we're moving out of Leo energy, which is fiery, it's bold, it's brave, it's expressive, it's a little bit dramatic, it's overwhelming, overconfident, overexcitable, and move into this earth energy of very organized, very calculated, very let's see the problem and come up with solutions and fix it energy of Virgo. Virgo energy is very meticulous. This is when we take all the big ideas, all the big emotions, all the big excitement from the moon in Leo, and we come back down to earth. We start analyzing it. We look at the details of the big picture to see the smaller details of what needs to happen in order for the big picture to actually even be possible. We are looking to reorganize, restructure, and most of all, we are looking to create order out of chaos in the mental plane and in the heart space. So the moon in Leo was very much the heart and soul, and Virgo energy is actually an earth energy ruled over by Mercury. Mercury right now in Leo energy. So this is a great opportunity for us to, yes, dabble in getting our heart and head on the same page, but then actually bringing it into our physical bodies. That earth energy of Virgo helps us organize, helps us bring some of these elements to life, get organized, get strategic in what needs to happen to actually see some of these elements come into manifestation and fruition. So one thing I will also say is that anytime we are moving out of fire energy and into earth energy, it definitely is felt. It feels like we are jumping out of a plane and the parachute doesn't open and we splat down on that earth energy. It's very abrupt. We come back into our physical body, concentrated on our physical circumstances. Things aren't big and explosive and dramatic and overwhelming and exciting anymore. Now we need to bring things back down to earth, and that can be very somber and sobering for many, many people. So there are 8 different aspects taking place here today, and all 8 involve the moon. So the moon, right before it goes void, of course, the last aspect that it makes before going void, before becoming unstable and shaky, is with an opposition with Saturn, the Lord of Karma. Now, let me just say, this is a somber aspect anyways. The moon in Leo is big, bold, courageous. Anything is possible. We're excited. We're all fired up. And Saturn, even at the best of times, is like, you know what? Let's pump the brakes. Let's slow down the roll here. Let's come back down to earth. Let's strategize on what needs to happen in order to build the bridge from where it is that we're at to get you to where it is that you desire to be. There is a weight. This feels heavy. We get focused back on our roles and responsibilities. We can't go off willy-nilly and jump into some big fantasy that we've conjured up under the moon in Leo. We have to deal with reality. Even more than that, this is going to play off of kind of a situation that we're building up to early tomorrow morning. It will be exact tomorrow morning. But between Mercury and Saturn, this kind of plays in because this is bringing up doubts. This is bringing up questions. The moon is going void anyways. We're very insecure and unstable in our decisions and our thoughts and our feelings anyways. But Saturn really wants to give us a tough love life lesson and bringing us back down to earth and getting us a little bit more realistic with the dreams, with the ideas, with the emotions, with the thoughts that we just had, which were a little bit over dramatic and overinflated in this Leo energy. The moon is going to bump into Jupiter, which is going to amplify this particular energy because, of course, Jupiter is the great magnifier. He just went retrograde just hours after the new moon in Leo peaked yesterday. And now retrograde, we have to slow down. We have to do a little bit of reflection. This is a little bit of a conflict. We're going to feel the tug of war happen within us because, of course, the moon in Leo and this new moon energy is firing us up to move forward, while all of these heavy hitting planets like Saturn and Jupiter and Pluto and Neptune are slowing us down to reflect back. Why? Because the magic, the strategy, the plan, the process that we need to be integrating in the here and now in order to actually bridge the gap from where it is that we're at to where it is that we desire to be, the lesson, the resources, the wisdom, the knowledge has already been gifted to us in tough love life situations that have already gone by. Now, Jupiter and the moon is an amplifier of whatever we're feeling emotionally. And now that the moon is void, we are feeling very uncertain. We're questioning everything. We have doubts. This is literally where we start speaking fear into our dreams. Now, the moon goes ahead and bumps into Neptune in a way that would suggest that we're having a hard time aligning to our intuition, aligning to our heart, aligning to our soul. The moon is void. Everything is uncertain. Everything is shaky. Everything is unstable. What this particular aspect is doing is amplifying and intensifying our confusion, our uncertainty, our insecurity so greatly that we tap into the shadow aspect of Neptune of being so overwhelmed, so hypersensitive, so over emotional that we disassociate with reality and we tend to want to escape and numb. Now, the moon goes ahead and bumps into Pluto, the great transformer himself, in such a way that would kind of exasperate where it is that we are feeling dark, where we're feeling heavy, where we're sitting in the fear, the pain, the trauma of our past experiences, and letting our past experiences dictate what is or not possible for us in moving forward. Again, the moon is void. Very unstable, very shaky. We are still in the new moon energy. It's very potent. The dark phase of the moon means that we are still sitting in the darkness. We do not have any moonlight. We do not have any illumination. We do not have any clarity. Just as we've been exploring, just as we take one step forward, the dark force energy agenda pulls us 2 steps back. Just when we align with our heart and our soul and our intuition and our higher self and feel and know and trust in our gut that we're on the right path, our ego kicks in to talk fear into our dreams, into our plans. Now, the moon bumping into Pluto in this way is also aspecting a certain opportunity popping off in our external reality where maybe we get to take our power back. Maybe we get to take control of the situation. Or we let our past dictate for us what it is that we've always done, which is given our power away and step back from taking full responsibility and control over our lives and over our actions, and instead sit back and play the victim and play the not so happy-go-lucky card and blame everybody else for our shortcomings. This energy is very abrupt, very opposite, very conflicting to the high peak vibe energy that we should have been feeling under the new moon in Leo energy. Why? Because we have to find balance. The new moon Leo energy was so fired up, so potent, so overwhelming, so overexcited, so focused on the big vision, the big dream, the big passion, the big excitement, that now we kind of have to dabble in the darkness in order to find our middle ground. The problem is that most of us feel this high, and then when we feel the low, we set up camp in the low, and it's harder to get out of that funk. Now, the moon is going to go ahead and semi-square, which is another tension point, with Venus. This is just after the moon moves into Virgo, so we're grounded in our approach. The moon in Virgo grounds us, but a semi-square is also a tension point to make us uncomfortable enough to make a change, to see our options, to choose a different direction. Now, the moon in Virgo wants us to organize our thoughts and feelings because, again, things have been a little bit cray-cray. We need to put everything back in its spot. We need to get organized and structured here. The semi-square with Venus, who again is in Cancer energy, bouncing around with recognizing, how how much she wants love and connection, but yet how isolated and lonely she feels, how, welcoming and intimate she wants to kind of be with certain people, but yet how closed off and rigid she is, how defensive she is, how protective she is. And a lot of this is because she is failing to provide the nurturing, the sustenance, the resources, the strength within herself. She's looking outside of herself for other people to fill the voids that are her responsibility to fill within herself. So emotionally speaking, we're feeling crazy. We don't know what we want. We don't know what we need. We don't know what we desire. Because what we want, need, and desire is the complete opposite of how we're acting, how we're behaving, how we're thinking, of how we're feeling. So the moon in Virgo kind of swoops in and says, okay, crazy lady, we got to put our eggs in the basket in the right order. We have to get down to the nitty gritty and actually identify what it is that you actually want, need, and desire from your soul space, instead of allowing your ego, your insecurities, your uncertainties, your doubts dictate for you what is possible as far as your wants, needs, and desires go. The moon in Virgo bumps into Chiron, the wounded healer, in not such a nice way. Again, this is highlighting for us where we feel absolutely bounced around and cray-cray when it comes to our pain, our trauma, our wounds. Chiron is retrograde, meaning we have to do a deep dive in recognizing what we've actually done to try to heal said wounds. Virgo energy is the physical healer. Virgo energy sits across from Pisces energy. Pisces energy is a healer on the soul, on the energetic level, while Virgo is the healer on the physical realm, the physical level, the physical body. We're very focused on balancing the scales between our mind, body, and soul when we're in Virgo energy, because we have to get organized, we have to restructure, we have to feel balanced, we have to feel stable. But right now we're coming off a high that is just, it's like coming off of drugs or coming off of a night of partying. We had a great time. We were wound for sound. We thought anything was possible. And then the next day we're questioning whether we're ever even able to get out of bed or not. This is very much the lunar hangover that we talk about after moon events. Going from such a high vibe to such a low vibe that we question whether the high vibe was even real, and whether we're ever going to bust free of these lower vibes that we have to sit in order to find our way back to a balanced level. We do have a couple of positive aspects, though, wrapping up the day. The moon in Virgo kind of comes out to save the day because we bump into Jupiter in a positive way that helps us really grasp where it is that we had a big vision, had a big dream, where it is that we had big beliefs, a big confidence in ourselves. But now we can move within ourselves and say, you know what? Yeah, I was really riding high. It felt good. I was going with it. I had a lot of wind in my sails and I don't regret it. But now we have to kind of dissect that big vision, that big dream, those big emotions. We have to get organized. We have to analyze them. We have to see what sticks and what was just foo-foo, right in the high of the vibe, and what we can actually do to incorporate some of these ideas, these dreams, these beliefs into our day-to-day life. This is where we bring it back into the physical body, where we ground it out, where we actually get stable enough in our emotions and in our mental plane to get a grasp on our energy and to sort things out. The moon goes ahead and bumps into Pluto. This is great because Pluto wants to take us into our psyche first and really analyze and do a huge transformation on the way that we look at things and the way that we understand past pain and trauma experiences and why they needed to happen to push us into our truest power and potential. Now, the moon in Virgo is all about the finer details, and being ruled over by Mercury, we have no qualms whatsoever doing a deep dive into our mental plane, dissecting our thoughts, dissecting our perspective, dissecting our past experiences, obsessing to the point where we loop over certain thoughts and behaviors and rewind over certain memories and reflect so that we can pull out the silver linings, pull out the wisdom, pull out the knowledge. And what happens is that the minute that we have an aha moment, that changes our perception, our perspective, our understanding of events that have already transpired. And what that does is it alters our psyche. And when our psyche is altered, we can change the emotions that we have around it because we have a different understanding and perspective that we're coming from. And once we can kind of alter our psyche and alter our emotions, we can get that in alignment so that we can therefore engage the body on a new vibration with a new focus, a new understanding, a new perspective. And this means that we are gaining stability. It means that we are putting things in its proper spot. It means that we're compartmentalizing our thoughts, our ideas. We're giving it a place. We're giving it an importance. We're giving it a value. And that is the whole goal of this Virgo energy, is to get emotionally grounded, is to reorganize, restructure what it is that we're thinking and feeling, and actually be truthful about it. Because again, riding off a high, I just want you to think of moon events like a big party, right? You're out, you're having a great time, you're under the influence of alcohol or drugs or whatever your vice may be. You know, the music is banging, the interactions are great, but our inhibitions are lowered. We are throwing caution to the wind. We might not have a realistic idea and perspective of what tomorrow is going to look like. And even though you might have some really amazing ideas and insights while you're riding high on that vibe, things look differently when you take the beer goggles off and you actually wake up the next day and realize, you know, am I over emotional because I actually am over emotional, or is this the drugs and the energy leaving my system? This is very comparable to lunar events. And luckily for us, we have the moon in Virgo trying to ground us out, trying to give us stability, trying to heal us by sorting through the mess of our thoughts, of our emotions, of our memories, seeing what was real, what was not, what can stick, what we can work with, and what we have to let go of altogether.